Welcome to my prototype for my design challenge, Redefining Summer Break, using the Genius Hour to combat extended break learning loss. My name is Sarah Gasick. A little bit about me, I have a BA from the College of St. Benedict in elementary education and hold a current license to teach grades 1 through 6. I am completing my master's degree through St. Mary's University of Minnesota in learning design and technology. On a personal level, I live with my husband and twin daughters in Richfield, Minnesota. Before we explore my challenge, I want to give you a little background on design thinking in general. The concept of design thinking is basically a creative way to solve problems through innovation, hands-on prototyping, and experimentation to create a real-world solution for real-world problems. Once problems or challenges are identified, the thinker then goes through a series of steps to not only further explore the issue, but also research it with credible solutions and affected stakeholders. The thinker then compiles this information to generate potential solutions in the form of a prototype. That prototype is brought back to the stakeholders and vetted. This process continues until both the thinker and the stakeholders have worked together to create a solution that fulfills the needs to solve the problem, and that solution is implemented or created and used. At this point, I am in the prototype phase, collecting my feedback on potential solutions. I will continue this process for the next few weeks as I hone and test facets of my solution for the final product. My design challenge is how can we reimagine summer break or any extended break at home for my children and engage them academically or enrich their summer experience. Research shows us that summer learning loss is always present, but is stronger and more persistent over extended breaks like summer. Researchers David Quinn and Morgan Polikoff tell us that over summer break, students not only lose about 4 weeks of learning on average, but the declines are greater in math than reading and also greater in the older grades. On top of this, Jeffrey Roselle and Anne Haley McKenzie compare the school to a faucet. Basically, if school is the faucet that pours out knowledge, when summer comes, that faucet is turned off for all students. Middle and upper class families have enough means to keep at least some of the faucet flowing for their students, but lower socioeconomic families do not. But before you start canceling summer vacations and plan to buckle down on learning, research also reminds us that the brain does need a break. Ferris Jaber reminds us that when the brain is not solving issues, it is using its downtime to process what it's gathered since the last time it did that process. It's transferring, refiling, and reorganizing information. Therefore, it's very important to have downtime so that the brain can do this. So after much research and talking with various stakeholders, I came up with a number of potential solutions that preserve some sort of summer break, but also challenge students to keep learning. This is no easy task. In their book, Think Like a Freak, Stephen Levitt and Stephen Dubner talk about problem solving. They say to think like a freak means to think small, not big. Why? For starters, every big problem has been thought about endlessly by people much smarter than we are. The fact that it remains a problem means that it is too hard to be cracked in full. What I found totally supports this. There were many smaller, more immediately doable and testable pieces to this problem. So a potential solution that I am prototyping is to use Genius Hour as a vehicle to keep learning and academic work going through the summer or any extended break. So what is Genius Hour? It's basically controlled, free explore time. It originated in the tech sector, specifically at Google, where employees can use 20% of their time a week to work on projects that aren't necessarily related to their current work. In an earlier class, I did a presentation on Genius Hour and how it could work for these purposes, and these next few slides were taken from that presentation. The basic rules of Genius Hour are shown here. There must be a driving question, the topic must involve a lot of research, and your learning must produce some sort of deliverable. So the basic structure is that students devise a topic or a question that they want to research or something that they want to develop. They then learn about the topic and create their final project with regular check-ins from a teacher or mentor. Once school reconvenes, they share their final product with their classmates. Genius Hour is a good solution to summer learning because if executed well and all stakeholders buy in, it allows kids to be curious and seek out the answers to their questions on their own. It also hones their research and reasoning skills as well as gets their brains thinking in a different way from the regular school year. So my plan for using this tool requires some very specific criteria. In order to be effective, quite a few stakeholders, including teachers, students, parents, and administration, need to be involved. Once we have teachers and administration on board, actually putting the process into place will take multiple steps. First, scaffolding for the process will need to be put into place. By this, I mean students will need to be brought through the process of brainstorming a topic, research techniques, online etiquette and digital citizenship, and depending on how your school is structured, this may be done by the media teacher or a regular classroom teacher. Another point of contact for summer communication will need to be identified. This person or team will set out the expectation for regular check-in. This person could be the regular classroom teacher or another adult from the school who is available and qualified. Parents and guardians will also need to be kept appraised of the project and what expectations of them there will be. All these steps need to be done before the students leave for summer break. Next, a schedule needs to be developed for regular check-ins with a teacher or mentor. Research shows that engagement is higher in home-based programs when there is regular contact with a mentor about the program. Weekly group meetings is the best plan as it keeps the momentum going. Check-ins can be done via an online tool like Skype, FaceTime, or Google Hangout, via Snapmail, or via email messaging or a messaging tool within a tool like Schoology or Google Classroom. Ideally, a topic will be decided upon before the students leave for break as well. This way, the teacher and/or mentor can help direct students toward a viable topic that will meet the expectations of Genius Hour. Of course, topics can be tweaked and adjusted as the process goes on. Once break begins, the students and mentors will meet at the appointed time via the chosen tool and discuss their work since the last time they met. During these meetings, students will discuss progress with the teacher and mentor and ask any questions or receive feedback from their classmates. Student self-assessments on how the project is going will also be periodic. These check-ins are important as they keep the group connected, engaged, and energized to keep working. They are also sneaking in some wonderful non-academic skills such as teamwork, collaboration, and how to give feedback. When the school year reconvenes, students will gather to present their projects. This may be done in a variety of ways based on what is going to work best for the school schedule and staff. I think that meeting as a new group of learners to present these projects may be a great icebreaker and a way to learn about these new students and where their interests lie. The benefits to using a Genius Hour over summer are many. It's a cheap program. The district will need to pay a teacher or a mentor for their work over summer, but the hours are much less than a school-based program. Internet will also need to be addressed since meetings and research probably both need to be conducted online. Some districts are now rolling out affordable Wi-Fi options to their families with school-age children to address this issue, as it's not limited just to this project. It's getting kids to think in a different way than they do in school. It's personalizing learning to students. By giving them choice in their topic and product, they are more invested in the final product and should then be learning more. It's creating equal opportunities to learn regardless of SES or socioeconomic level. As long as specific barriers are met, such as access to research and online tools, students of all socioeconomic levels should be able to succeed in this program. But how will we know if using Genius Hour worked? Great question. Students in our district, Richfield, take a map test in the fall and in the spring. An easy way to see if there was maintenance or perhaps growth would be to look at those scores from spring and compare them to the following fall. If they stayed relatively the same, we know that they retained some of the learning from the previous year. If there is loss, obviously they didn't retain learning. Depending on their topic, I am guessing that their scores will maintain or possibly grow in the English language arts area, especially since the core of Genius Hour requires them to do research and write. Hopefully they will also maintain in math, since there will be critical thinking and problem solving involved, though again, depending on the topic, this may not be the case. Kids will also be growing in ways that aren't measurable, socially and emotionally. There are going to be valuable learning communication techniques learned, as well as research and technology skills that will serve them well in years to come. So this is where I need your help. Do you think this is a viable idea for your family? I have provided a Google form link for you to give me feedback on this idea. I will then use your feedback to improve my prototype. Thank you so much for your feedback and for listening to my presentation.